Yo, welcome back to the Nerds with Glasses podcast, your number one gaming podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Knowledge.
And I'm Javi. Quick shout out to our sponsored Get Control Freaks. Get 10% off using the GOP, just right at checkout.
Yeah, just use code GOP and you'll get 10% off anything on the website. Easy to use, like you said, right in the checkout. But joining us today, we have a special guest to talk about Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Stephanie. I'm Knowledge's younger sister. I just got back from Berkeley.
She just graduated, baby.
For what? What was it for?
I majored in film.
In películas.
And what are we talking about?
But I've been a movie buff my whole life, so I'm well versed in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I've been following since Iron Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely we are a little bit late. This movie has been out. Granted, we gave you guys enough time to watch it because we're gonna have a full discussion.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
Javi and I watched it twice already.
Yes. Yeah. So it's spoiler full. If you don't want any spoilers, just back out right now. Or this is gonna be full of spoilers. We're not gonna hold anything back. We're just gonna discuss it freely
and watch it. Like before spoilers come in, watch the movie.
Yeah, like watch the movie.
It's good.
Sure. For sure. I think
if you want to keep up with the MCU, you have to watch it. Yeah. You're kind of obliged at this point.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't kept up, just watch it.
Like you've come this far, like you already seen all.
There's no turning back anymore.
That's how they just hook everybody.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah.
So prior to even watching the movie, I want to know I want to know our thoughts on whose side you're going to choose, because that's the big thing about this movie.
Yeah.
The two sides. So before the movie, who were you guys going with?
Well, I was going with Cap, and I think everybody was going with Cap. I
saw a good mixture. Granted, this was just comments wise. Yeah. But, I saw like a really good mixture.
See, I wonder. I don't know. Do you think that they did like one of those like campaigns where they had people they worked like?
Yeah, actually, I saw on Snapchat. And because I'm the only one here active on Snapchat, it's they had filters where it's like, whose side are you on? Are you with Captain America? Are you with Iron Man? I personally sided more with Captain America.
I think all three.
I guess that's kind of
like
the revolutionary kind of rebellion kind of feel, because Iron Man seems to side more with the government.
But isn't it just like, who the hell is gonna be like pro government? You know what I mean? Like it just and maybe like the 40, 50-year-olds or something.
No, like the thing is like that they set it up even more so they set it up so that Iron Man would feel even worse about the things that have happened like in Avengers 2 and like even like his own movies in the Iron Man trilogy. The whole thing with like the black woman with the son who died in.
Well, that's why this is prior to watching the movie, because from the trailers, I honestly almost went either way. Because the trailers did a really good job of. I mean, granted, you knew Tony Stark. I mean, just from if you heard of the comic book, most people sided with Cap because Tony Stark's ideas were way, they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But in the trailers, they really kind of made it they made it kind of hard to choose. Well, harder than, at least for me in the comic, to choose.
Yeah.
Because in the comic, it was easily Cap.
And I think as soon as you start the movie, it's easily Cap. And it's. Although they try to throw these roadblocks in there, and I do commend them. I think they did a good job of actually presenting Iron Man's side of it, because there is conflict there, and there like you can see where like they would feel that way, where they need to kind of restrict themselves, because like you said, like once you start the movie, you have like the lady who her son died, and you know that Tony feels guilty about it, but before the movie, it's just like it's kind of like either pro government or anti-government. And I think the majority of people are going to lean toward anti-government, because everybody's just like, fuck the government. Especially the way stuff is right now in politics with what's going on with Trump. Well,
it's ironic to see like such a American icon like Captain America basically going rogue throughout the whole movie.
But you kind of have seen that since Avengers.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the whole, the first Avenger, I mean, that was him just like all for the government, all for the war, doing all this stuff. And, obviously he went through all those events. And even at the end of the movie, I mean, he was still doing what he thought was right.
Yeah.
But you see him in Avengers, you really see him starting to change.
Yeah. So
kind of influenced by Tony Stark, ironically.
Yeah, and then it flipped. So, but yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's why the movie works for the most part. At least for me, it does. Is because you don't feel like, oh wow, they're just throwing those sides out there just because. Like Iron Man's side is set up in Age of Ultron because that's the whole point of that movie, is that he wants to find a way
to police the world,
and put it out the hands of. Put it in an unbiased hands, which would be AI, supposedly.
And he made it worse.
Yeah, and he made it worse.
And he acknowledges that, too.
Yeah, and again, also, like, and they should have explored this aspect of it more, and they didn't. They almost didn't explore this at all in what's the Civil War? The fact that not only, like, did he try to do... The whole thing that happened in Age of Ultron was his fault.
Him and...
No, it's his. Banner too. I guess.
I mean, it was obvious. Yeah, it was Tony's idea. He's. I mean, Banner, Bruce, Hulk.
Yeah.
Aided him very heavily.
Yeah, but you lose sight of the fact of that during the movie because it's kind of like then Ultron becomes the bad guy and it's just kind of like, okay, they're fighting the bad guy.
The biggest biggest reminder of Ultron, other than the whole emotional aspect of it, is Vision.
Yeah.
Because Vision is just a badass all around, but he kind of works for just kind of like he's still Jarvis. He's like the Tony's butler.
Yeah, and that's,
in many respects.
Yeah,
that's one of the big reasons. While watching the movie and after, I heavily chose Cap.
Yeah.
Rhodes was the only character I felt had a real reason for citing the way he cited.
Yeah.
Tony Stark, his guilt was getting to him.
Yeah.
Vision seemed heavily manipulated by Tony.
Which just a quick tangent. I don't understand that. That I didn't like. I mean, I don't know if it's like that in the comics.
I don't even know because I don't remember who Vision is. I don't know if he's Jarvis in the comics.
Because I mean, just by the end of Age of Ultron, it seemed like he was
his own being.
Yeah, like it seemed like he was just kind of like this greater being who was gonna like kind of like the hammer of justice.
Well, he ends up. That's another thing. He ends up getting really close to Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And he gets distracted by her, and that's what
I hated, by the way.
That was the whole thing that caused Rhodes's thing.
But what was I say about at the end of Age of Ultron? Didn't Ultron kind of not make fun of him, but talk to Vision about being naive?
Yeah. So
it doesn't set him up like the movie Age of Ultron doesn't set, especially when he comes out, he's like a god pretty much.
Yeah.
But. Granted, I guess they just couldn't flesh out his character more, but I think that's how he's supposed to be, very naive, because I think that's what Ultron tells him.
Yeah, I mean he does, but it's still to me that didn't hammer that home.
Yeah, it didn't hammer it on in the movie at all. It just, that, and that's what I'm saying. He didn't really have the reason to be. I mean, I think he was just manipulated because they're trying to do the whole in the comics or in the canon, Scarlet Witch and Vision are together.
Yeah.
I don't like it in the movie because it just doesn't. They don't flesh it out at all. It just kind of they're together.
It just it doesn't feel right. To me,
same thing with Hulk and
Hulk and I was about to say that. Although I didn't dislike them together, but it was kind of out of nowhere. It's just
it felt forced a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Hulk and Black Widow, same thing.
Yeah. Although if you look back on it, I was watching Avengers 1 maybe a couple months ago after part 2, and then you do kind of see little subtle hints, but I think that they needed to be set up better.
Same thing with Sharon Carter and Captain America.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about, I guess, the love interest.
Yeah.
So we're jumping.
Finally, by the way, they give him a love interest.
Right. I was really surprised by the kiss, only because Peggy just died a day before.
Yeah.
He just found out that she's related to him.
Yeah.
I love the Falcon and and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, obviously that little smile made it all up. But I think it would have been cool. If they don't kiss, right, and he gets back to the car and they're like, you should have kissed her.
That was reminiscent of Joss Whedon's screenplays, just the way it goes, the little things, the little details that make that even better.
Because right after the movie, we talked about it, and he was telling me, Javi was telling me that he didn't like it, but he was just the look on Falcon's face,
and
just made up.
Bucky.
Yeah, but it just Falcon was Just like because your homies are like
and they're the two ultimate Captain America homies.
Yeah. So I mean, little things like that give like bad scenes like that redemption. I wouldn't call it a bad scene myself.
No, it's not.
I mean, because the thing is, to me, it wasn't that big of a deal because Peggy is had been out of his life for so long, and she was old now, and I think he had already accepted that was already long time ago. Like it's never gonna happen.
Right.
So, but yeah, back to the original thing, which was whose side were you on before? I think most of the people were on Cap. All three of us were on Cap's side, and then after the movie,
I was still on Captain America.
Even more so.
Yeah, exactly. And but like I said, they did do a good job.
It was really it's complex. It complex things because it complicated things because like now that Tony knows that Bucky was responsible, technically speaking, physically for his parents' death. So in the future Avengers movies, how is that dynamic gonna play out? How are him and Captain America gonna get along now?
Yeah.
Even with that sentimental letter, it's the guy killed his mom.
Yeah.
That was specifically, he was like, you killed my mom. You don't mess with the moms. And we found out about this even more so in Batman versus Superman.
Yes. Martha,
who didn't think of that before?
Yeah, so who are you? I'm your son's best friend because your name is the same as my mom's name. I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, in terms of it feeling like a Captain America movie or not, or
oh yeah. I think I was afraid beforehand that it wasn't going to feel like a Captain America movie because there's so many characters, but I think it really does feel like a Captain America movie. I don't know about how you guys feel about it.
No, definitely.
I read somewhere that it felt like Winter Soldier 2 just because it diverged and
it definitely is Winter Soldier Part 2.
I mean, yeah, it feels like it's in the vein of Winter Soldier. I didn't really like the first one. But I loved Part 2. I love Winter Soldier, and I think they expanded on that. I think they did a good job with bringing back the directors.
Oh, you didn't like First Avenger?
No, I didn't like First Avenger.
Okay, yeah, I thought when you said the first one, I thought you were saying Winter Soldier 1. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, I meant the first one.
Get out!
First Avenger. But, the Russo brothers did a great job with it. But, I mean, to me, so far, like, my favorite forever is going to be Winter Soldier just because it was just so well made. This is really just setting up even more for, Avengers 3, it feels like.
Yeah, I was feeling like toward the middle of the movie, I was like, okay, they're going to make up. And, like, I felt like the whole Civil War thing was being thrown out the window.
Well, because then they brought in Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I felt like it was kind of weird because the movie, there's supposed to be the conflict. Like the main conflict of at least for the beginning of the movie was the Sokovia Accords, which were no reason to fight over, really.
Yeah.
And they all knew, but we were still fighting over it. The real reason they were fighting was Bucky.
Yeah.
Like Captain America was like, no, you're not. You guys are not touching Bucky. Like, we can
Yeah.
figure something out, but signing those accords is putting Bucky he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead in the water if
Yeah.
you sign those things. So that's like the real main conflict, right? And speaking of bringing in Black Panther, I love Black Panther.
Yeah,
the first scene with him and Black Widow was they set him up really well.
They set him up just as a really strong character, and I love the whole kind of tribal protect your people type feel to him, and especially he's the prince of
Wakanda.
Wakanda, yeah.
So I mean,
Prince T'Challa.
He has that lineage. For one thing, he's the only one that I know that has royal blood. He has a lineage of having the Black Panther kind of passed on to him.
Yeah.
So that's that just set it up so well in a really short period of time because apparently he's gonna get his own film in 2018.
And it's being directed by my boy who directed Creed.
Yes.
And he directed Fruitvale Station. So, if this is not a good movie, I'll be shocked.
Yes.
Because this is a world-class director.
Well, that's what I'm saying. His character was
Ryan Coogler, sorry.
He's a young director, but he made his name already with those two films already.
Sorry, I didn't mean. I was just.
No, that's fine.
I want to throw his name out there.
But Black Panther, like out of all the characters in the movie, had like the greatest growth. Like even though like he didn't have that much like time on screen, but he was like by far one of my favorite characters.
They took advantage of every scene, and that final scene, not the final scene, but the scene where he's with I forgot his name, the bad guy. And he realizes that they're going through the same thing, and he takes
everyone
pity,
is literally going over.
And he's taking pity on him for that, and the whole movie, like his rage is justified. You know, like he thinks that Winter Soldier murdered his father. Like, why wouldn't he want revenge? Why
Especially seeing how Bucky, like, as far as he knows, Bucky's just killed. Like, he's an assassin. That's what he does.
Yeah, and
he has no reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, and Bucky is so like free of remorse. Like it's not that he doesn't feel bad, because he does feel the pain, but he just does. He's just a blank slate.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. That scene where him and Iron Man, where he's like, "Do you even remember?" He's like, "I remember all of them."
Yeah,
like that really hit me hard. I was like, "Shit," because like. He had, I mean, granted, I don't know how much control he actually had.
It's kind of like he was like an empty vessel.
Yeah,
like
just
he was watching things happen, and he didn't have any control over it. Yeah, to an extent.
You're right.
Yeah, no, he definitely had no control, but could see everything, and that's driven home when Zemo is trying. It's gonna brainwash him with the words, with the phrases. And he's like, no. And he's like, and he loses it because he's just like, he doesn't want it. Yeah, like he doesn't want it to happen. Ready to comply. Like,
pretty much.
You sound like a Man and Conquer. Like, units ready. Yeah.
Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. I personally feel like I like him better than Andrew Garfield. My brother and I are huge on Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire. But
Part 1 and 2.
Yes. Part 3, we disowned it pretty much.
I loved 1 and 2. I just didn't like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
I don't know. Like I've heard that so much lately, and I'm just like,
I don't understand.
Like not that he was horrible. I don't know. I didn't like.
I don't get it.
I think other than the fact, maybe he probably was too old for the role, but so was Andrew Garfield, and people tend to like him, and I don't see.
I liked him better too.
Like I like Andrew Garfield too. That's the thing. Like I like both of them, but like
Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland.
By far the best.
Oh, the new kid. Yeah,
by far the best.
I think he
looks
the best.
The right age.
He would have been better for Amazing Spider-Man.
He would have been, yes,
for sure.
Yes, like
not to badmouth Andrew Garfield, but
no,
yeah,
but
like
Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, just not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of like an emo Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like,
no, the emo Peter Parker was Tobey in 3.
Well, in 3, yeah. In 3.
Like I said, disowned. It's not even worth mentioning.
Wait, there was a part 3? Like, when did this happen?
But I think, this Spider-Man, or this Peter Parker, this Spider-Man is great.
Yeah.
He wasn't super over the top, like insulting everyone.
Yeah.
But he was, I guess, granted, he was just geeking out at everything.
Yeah.
The quips he had though were really good.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the metal arm, dude, and oh, you guys remember that old movie Empire Strikes Back? Like.
Yeah. No, it reminded me of the cartoon Spider-Man, and like,
something about besides him being like younger. He's still much more of a beast than any of the other like Spider-Mans.
Maybe I don't know. Andrew Garfield was pretty beast.
Well, I mean, but granted, he had a whole 2 movies.
Yeah.
Just from what I saw of this Spider-Man, like that thing falling on him and him just like no, like
yeah.
I was just like, okay, they're making him like legit like strong as hell.
Yeah.
Super, into his powers, like. You know what I mean?
He's a straight savage.
That was a great halfway point for the movie, because to be honest, the movie is too long, and they could have cut out a lot.
I agree with that. I think it's too long.
And that's the same thing with Batman vs Superman. They're trying to pack in a lot of stuff for the sake of the franchise as a whole, but as a movie, sometimes you're just like, man, like we could just move on.
Although Batman vs Superman was way too fucking long.
For example, I didn't feel the movie to be that long, so I would need you guys to like literally tell me what parts you would think would need to be taken out, because I'm just like, I thought it was fine.
I don't know. I would need to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's what I'm saying. Like Batman vs Superman, I could have told you, and I did like right away. I was like, they could have cut this, and this. Mm-hmm. This one just to me during the middle started dragging a little bit. like the pace slowed down too much.
Okay.
And I just like they needed to quicken it up, you know, like because at the end of the day, they didn't need to go through all that different zigzag bullshit to get to the point where it was like the whole point is just to get Iron Man in the room with Winter Soldier and watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole him going to the prison.
So like to do that, the guy like delivered some EMP bomb and then fucking like or whatever.
He called the room service, which that broke the news.
No, but I'm saying like the whole plot for him was like then he framed him and then he snuck into whatever to give him the phrases to brainwash him, and then he delivered some EMP bomb that knocked out the power, and then
they could have made him, I guess, more mysterious in that sense, like instead of you ever like knowing exactly what he's doing, he just does it and it just happens. But I don't know.
I definitely don't agree with that because I felt Zemo's character. He's all opportunity.
Yeah.
He saw that what happened in can't think of when Scarlet Witch caused the explosion. He saw that's causing the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah.
So he's like he needs to jump on it because he knows this is the perfect time to strike.
Yeah.
So he first of all has to find the book because he needs to be able to get to Bucky. The thing I don't like is, which is one of the only real plot holes I personally saw wrong with the movie, is how the fuck did no one know he wasn't the psychiatrist?
Yeah,
that really bothered me. But other than that, okay, you know, he had that's what he had to do.
That's so true. What kind of security you guys have running here? Like
you guys should have had like billions of pictures of the psychiatrist. But other than that, like he was all like his whole plan, like you said, it was to get Iron Man to fight Captain America. Yeah. You know, and we didn't even know that until the second half of the movie, but I thought it was fine because they needed to get over the Sokovia Accords. Yeah. You know, so I thought it was fine, but you know.
Yeah, just for me, it was too much. Like, and I particularly hate they do this a lot in the superhero movies, so you can't really complain. But I hate when the fucking villain has a plan that's like needs everybody to do a certain fucking thing.
It's so intricate.
Yeah, like, and it's like way too intricate that you could actually plan that.
It relies too much on other people's actions, and you can't possibly know what exactly what people are gonna do.
Yeah, and particularly in the last one, it's like, okay, so he released the information so that Iron Man would figure out that Winter Soldier was actually set up, which would make Iron Man then want to go with Cap and help him.
I do not. That a lot of people have talked about it. I don't think that's what it was. All opportunities. I mean, it's like you said, he went there to get the file, but he didn't expect Captain America and Bucky to be there. He didn't expect.
I don't know. He made it seem like that because he was like, oh, this was it. Like, this is the plan. Like, this is what I want you guys to do.
I mean, that's what I've read a lot. I mean, I just don't agree with it. I do have read a lot that's what people like everything had to fall into plan. Like, I don't think that was his plan.
Because what was he gonna do?
Release it. Like, after he's gonna take it out of there because he didn't want Bucky and Cap thought he was gonna go after the soldiers. That's why they went there.
Yeah, but like, why didn't he just release it right away? Like, how did he know that Iron Man was gonna show up?
He didn't.
Like, exactly, because he was expecting it. He did know, like, that's because in his plan he was gonna show up. See, because like, okay. If you don't expect Iron Man to show up, then what the fuck are you gonna do when Cap and fucking Winter Soldier? He didn't expect
them to come up either. He said specifically, if I can get them to kill each other, when he was explaining it to Black Panther, right? Like, he said something like that. That's why I thought also he was in on it, you know.
Because like, if I were him and if that was truly my plan, just to release it, why didn't I do that right away? Because otherwise, like, you know that they're coming after you. Fuck that. Like, there's no way he doesn't know that they're after you. And, like, when they show up, your little puny ass fucking, like, you're gonna get fucked up by fucking Winter Soldier. Like, you know, there's nothing that you're gonna do. So, like, to me, it made it seem like the plan was, when Iron Man showed up, he's like, right on fucking schedule, baby. Like, there you go.
I forgot. I need to watch it again because I think he said something specifically that made it, like, he wasn't expecting it. Yeah. But I would need to see it again.
Yeah, I would need to see it again. But, like, just in general, they do that a lot with... So that's why I say you can't really complain because it's always, like, master plans and fucking... whatever intricate stuff.
It made sense for Lex Luthor, even though that was like even more elaborate. But
yeah, no, to me that was even worse.
Yeah, that was way worse. I don't know.
Yeah, like
no, but I'm saying that they would try to play that with like, but it's Lex Luthor. Yeah. So like,
I mean, yeah, you can at least you can argue that where he like he's established as, you know, I don't know if this guy Zemo is like some new character. Maybe he's in the.
I mean, he's a villain. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? But you could argue that, but yeah, on Batman vs Superman, it was even worse. Like he really like knew exactly what everybody was gonna do. Like, yeah, like
my precious.
So I don't know, but that's really neither here nor there because in general, I enjoyed the movie.
Not my favorite.
I don't think it was like too long. I thought it was maybe like 20 minutes too long. Whereas I thought Batman vs Superman was like 40 minutes, 50 minutes too long.
Thank God we didn't get another fucking Peter Parker's Uncle Ben dying.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And they got Marissa Tomei to be Aunt May.
The hottest Aunt May to ever
totally,
walk.
Yeah, because I don't know the first actress and then Sally Field, but...
And I like it. So a lot of people have been talking about how Aunt May has gotten younger, but Peter Parker has gotten younger every movie as well.
Yeah, there you go.
They grow backwards.
They finally
that family just grows backwards.
They finally picked up on it. Like maybe people talk on the internet. So I mean, I don't know whatever happened if Sony completely scrapped plans for Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's not really gonna happen anymore.
No, they scrapped it.
Yeah.
Because they already kicked Garfield to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think they would continue it. But of course, the problem is gonna be, are they gonna do another origin story? I don't think so. If they just continue from where this is already, then why you don't need another origin story?
Well, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But post Tony Stark coming in.
But I don't think Sony can get like the rights to Tony Stark. Like
no. I don't think.
I mean, they don't need him. They just need to have that established world already. Like,
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know because. I mean, granted, this is because of Fox and Marvel, but like the twins, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver stories that were completely changed for both movies. They're not. I mean, they're still Quicksilver and Quicksilver. You know, granted they don't have Scarlet Witch, but like they're completely different. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if granted they have a somehow working relationship, so maybe that's gonna make it different.
Maybe Doctor Strange will elaborate on that because there's different universes.
Yeah, but I was just saying like if Sony does another movie, I think they're gonna do their own thing, not part of.
I think they should just leave it alone and let Tom Holland have his time to shine.
Right, no, and they're gonna do that with on Marvel side, but Sony they don't want to lose the rights. They have to make a movie every couple of years to keep the rights. They're working with Marvel to let Spider-Man be in their universe right now, but they still own them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they would make the deal unless they plan to use that same Spider-Man on the other side. Like they don't need to have all the other Marvel characters. They just need to establish that character, that Spider-Man. Like why can't they just transfer over that Spider-Man, that Aunt May?
Yeah, they're not gonna have an origin story because Uncle Ben's already out of the picture. And
that's if they continue this one. But like, but it'd be a terrible mistake if they did another origin story.
No, definitely.
Like, terrible mistake. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the comparison with kind of Superman and Batman vs Superman. But before that, just wanted to reiterate on a point that we're talking about how it was really complicated and they made it a tough decision between. Both sides. Even though most people were for Cap, the two lines that I really loved, that really drove it home was first when Cap said, "All that document's gonna do is shift the blame," and like that's all that's for. Like it doesn't change anything. They just want to blame somebody, and they know damn well it's not really our fault. We got to do what we got to do. And then the other thing was when Vision said. Ever since we've come to the forefront to power,
our presence invites challenge.
Yeah, and like there's been more world catastrophes, like events,
and just supers revealing themselves.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the word they used, but more supers showing themselves.
So like I thought
enhanced.
I thought that was the perfect response to Cap because it tells you like, man, shit's happening.
Causality is what he said.
Yeah, and something has to be done about it. And I think any human being thinks about that and is like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like people are dying by the hundreds and we're partly causing it. Like something has to be done. I don't know what it is, but maybe this is the answer. And I think they did a really good job of driving that part of it home, because if that wasn't there, the whole movie wouldn't have worked, because you would have just been like, why the fuck are they even fighting like with with Team Cap? Like, it should just be no duh, like we need to not be controlled by government. Like, I don't know how you guys felt about those two
well, like
aspects.
I said, like the whole Sokovia Accords, I think it was kind of like they definitely made it seem like that was gonna be like a lot of the movie. Like the conflict ended halfway through the movie. Yeah. At least, or I guess more, but the main conflict ended up being Bucky or Cap and Iron Man. Yeah. You know what they found out because of Zemo. Yeah. Like, you know, that was the main thing, and so I don't know. Which
is a brilliant move, I thought, because I did not expect that. Like,
yeah, even though you saw the fight, you're like, where's the fight? Yeah. You know, you're like, oh, I guess the most awesome thing in the trailers, I guess they just...
Yeah, they just cut it out. And then, like, it slowly dawned. Like, as soon as I was like...
What's this?
Like, I was like, oh, like, you know, you're like, oh my God, yes, I get it now.
Like, the whole flashback in the beginning.
Yeah.
Throwing it to us one more time in the middle, and then finally revealing who the
what
fuck...
is this?
Yeah. And you're like, boom, it just makes fucking sense. Like, so they did a good job of that part of it, which I think made the movie not suck. Like,
it's really thematically, it's a clash of beliefs. Yeah. And that's why it works so well. I mean, I totally get where Tony's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, it's complicated. Yeah, because that's honestly more personal at this point. You know, that's not even that.
Yeah, at the end, no. At the end, it was like, do what you have to do. Like Iron Man, like you know, but you got to know what Captain America's gonna do, and he has to do like that. Just the like at the end of the fight, where Bucky gets his arm blown off, he's like fucking dead pretty much, and Cap is getting his ass beat. You know, he does that whole what is the word? I can't even think of it right now. I can do this all day. Yeah. And I love, as soon as he says it, Bucky tries to help him. Yeah. Just like back in Brooklyn. Yeah. You know, one of the first scenes of the movie where he's getting his ass kicked, you know.
I really love that exchange at the very end of that when Bucky and Cap are walking away arm in arm, and he's like, "You don't deserve that shield. Yeah. My father made it." And
that's what I was saying. Like that conflict itself. That's like, you guys, you know, like, you guys do what you have to do. Like that, I can't choose sides on.
Yeah, because you can't blame Tony. No, you can't blame Tony for his rage. Like, you really can't.
And you can't blame.
It's not black and white at all.
Yeah, exactly. You can't blame Cap for not trying to let you kill his
best friend
who was brainwashed for over 100 years.
Yeah, and it's not his fault either. So what can you do? It is a very gray area, you know.
And this is I'm gonna go back to a point, but some of the things that I guess could be cut out, but I wouldn't want them to be cut out, is they didn't need all the characters there. Yeah. You know,
like
Hawkeye,
Ant-Man,
basically Team Cap. Yeah. They didn't really need most of the characters there. Loved them all being there, but I get when you guys were talking about, that was something that was just kind of like, at first I loved it just because of the fact, when I'm thinking back at it, just like, they didn't really need to be there at all.
Like, it could have just been Falcon, Cap, and Winter Soldier
and Scarlet Witch.
Well, I mean, you said Team Cap. That's like,
she's Team
Scarlet
Cap.
Witch.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought.
And the fact that she was held prisoner by Tony Stark. Yeah, like, yes, go ahead.
I was thinking Black Widow.
Yeah, no. But I guess so. I mean, I guess there are parts, now that I'm thinking about it, that I guess could have been cut, but I wouldn't have wanted them cut. Because that's one thing I think, like, yeah, because you don't need the whole scene with...
The big buildup of this was, like, that halfway point where they're at the airport, and they're all battling.
And they just, like, threw a sidewinder at us, because that wasn't it.
Well, because it's a big payoff, too. After watching, especially, like, Ant-Man, which was, like, way out there. It's, you know... I mean, I know people liked it for the most part, but it was, like... You know, it was just bringing all these people together.
Giant Man, like, come on, that was amazing.
He was funny.
Like, I love it.
You're like,
we're just gonna
come on.
Just like, before we talk about how this stands up against Batman vs Superman, let's just talk about little things we didn't mention that we love.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, like on the arrow, like, are you strapped in? Like, yeah, I think I'm ready. Yeah, like that. I just love Paul Rudd in general. You know.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But he's great in the movie.
He stole every scene he was in.
I love the whole dynamic of Captain America having two best friends now.
Yeah,
they hate
Falcon's
each other.
his road dog.
Yeah,
both of them, and that little exchange that they had when they were waiting for Sharon to give him the stuff back, and then he's like, "Can you move your seat up?"
Nope.
And they have like a funny kind of like rivalry.
They don't hate each other, but they do.
Yeah.
Like, they obviously don't. I guess they dislike each other.
It's like competing for Cap's affections in a weird way.
Yeah, which was I love that. I love the airport scene. You know, Vision getting distracted. Like I said, just that whole relationship I don't like at all. But the fact that something like that, because in the comic books, one of the big things that kind of like happened was a clone of Thor from Iron Man's side kills a character on Cap's side. Them doing like where like they completely did it differently, but him trying to shoot Sam or Falcon, thank you, and you know that roll, and then you know seeing Rhodes get hit, just seeing both. I mean, Sam didn't hesitate either. Like he went straight trying to catch him as well. I love that.
Yeah. Because at the
end
of the
day,
they're
not really all fighting.
They're
Black
not
Widow
really
saying
enemies.
That's not the main battle. Yeah.
Black Widow saying we're still
we're still friends, right?
Hawkeye said we're still friends. Black Widow said it, and he's like depends on how hard you hit.
See, that was the point, and that's why humor is important.
And there's so much humor throughout the movie that like every serious scene is almost directly followed by something just like small.
And that's why, like, we mentioned before when we talked about Batman vs Superman, like, it doesn't have to have humor necessarily because not every movie has to be the same. But to me, at that point, the sales of the movie went out. Like, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why are they even? There's no way they're even gonna hurt each other. And then they made that joke, and then it made the scene work, you know, because I was like, come on, like they're like
Vision was the only motherfucker actually trying to fucking kill people.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, the whole thing with the humor, I think that was fairly established with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And even more so with Avengers and the way Joss Whedon did it. Well,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying, but MCU is definitely within that realm, and even like Thor. I feel like DC is trying to lean more towards it's taking itself really seriously.
Okay, so let's talk about the comparison here. So the reason I wanted to compare the two for the most part is that Batman I think one of the main criticisms about Batman versus Superman is that it's not faithful to like who Batman and Superman are. Like Batman's a completely different character than he usually is. Which is weird
because he's more like I think I don't know if I mentioned it, but he's more like the Dark Knight Returns old, like, tired of the shit Batman. Granted, he still doesn't kill people.
Yeah.
He's been through stuff,
yes,
though. And that's clear based off just how tired he looks, and the whole thing with the Robin costume. And I'm hoping they go with that it's the new Joker was the old Robin.
Tim Drake.
Yeah. But we'll see with Suicide Squad. I'm really excited for that one. But yeah,
I'm really excited, but also extremely hesitant. But one of the reasons I think Batman versus Superman was so. I guess not. I mean, it came out bad, but the reason it was, they literally are trying to catch up to Marvel.
Yeah.
So that's where they fucked up. Absolutely. They need to set up. They should have like done at least Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman movies.
At least.
But they want to. Yeah. They're probably like, oh shit, we need to catch up. We need to do Justice League like tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, the counter argument to that is, well, we're trying to do something different. But think about it, because it's really lazy storytelling when you have Wonder Woman on the computer going through footage of what the people are gonna look like or what they're gonna do. Like, who the hell got footage of Aquaman?
Right? The guy that Aquaman killed, the camera floated to the surface. Yeah. I was telling Mike, like, that didn't need to be in the movie. That could have been an after credits and show one of them, not show all of them. There's no reason she has to go through. Like, if anything, in the movie, we could have seen maybe just cyborgs.
Yeah.
That one would make the most sense to it because technology, Luther, that.
Yeah.
Everything else could have been after the credits.
Like it very literally was a trailer in the middle of the movie. But so my question is though between the two is Civil War is not faithful to the original comic.
No.
Not that I've
at all. I mean, granted,
yeah.
the whole MCU is not really, they follow.
Diverge.
They diverge a lot everywhere.
Yeah, but this one is a big divergence from.
We're not well versed in comics. We know.
Yeah, honestly, from Civil War, all I know is from the Wikipedia page.
Right. One of the main things that the way I guess MCU went was just the characters they didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man they didn't have.
Yeah.
They didn't have any of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Huge characters. All major superstars in Civil War.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. That's not. We have to wait for them to make another. They need to just sell the rights back to Marvel. They need to give that up. But I mean that's the main reason they diverged so much. I'm sure if they had everything, they would have stayed a little bit more faithful in general.
Yeah, that's
because they literally don't have mutants.
They're working with what they got so far.
Because they have no mutants.
Yeah.
At all, and luckily they got they had to change them completely, but luckily they got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
They technically.
But they killed off Quicksilver anyway.
Yeah. But because they technically only needed Scarlet Witch, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, I wonder why still why they I guess they get a pass on it because they are limited. Mm-hmm. But I don't think most people know that. I mean, hardcore fans know that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And then it begs the question too. Is well, why even do Civil War? Why even call it Civil War?
Right. Yes, definitely. It could have been literally the
Winter Soldier 2.
The Bucky and Rogers show.
It's definitely. It's not necessarily. It's more personal conflict, and it's their road dogs, their homies coming in and backing them up. It's not it's clearly opposed sides.
Yeah. And Civil War isn't hundreds of course
everyone.
Yeah, and of course I don't expect that to see that. I'm not crazy. You're not gonna see that on screen, but at the same time
that would be so bad.
They can't do that, right?
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Even an animated version of that would be tough.
Yeah, and dude, it's literally just a team deathmatch, 6v6. You know what I mean? And it comes down to if they would have just called it Winter Soldier 2,
maybe not that. It would have to be something related with Bucky.
Something related, yeah.
Yeah, something close to it, and because a lot
of
stuff...
They could even called Winter Soldier something else and left Winter Soldier's name for this one.
Yeah.
Because granted, it did have a lot to do with Bucky, but it was more Hydra's fall.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
They would have learned more about Bucky.
Rise of Hydra.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be one spoiler because that was the whole big...
Yeah, that's true. No, Hydra plays a big part of all that.
Yeah, so they could have had a different name for that one, and for this one, it would have been Winter Soldier because...
Yeah,
it's all about him.
That would have made more sense. That's true. So yeah, I wonder if people give. I wonder how much fanboyism comes into this.
Yeah, I mean, after watching this, I'm fully Marvel fanboy.
You don't even.
I didn't like Man of Steel. That I mean, I didn't hate it, but
I did not like Man of Steel.
Yeah, I didn't.
He fell asleep in the middle of the fight scene.
Didn't you fall asleep in Winter Soldier? But it was super late. But still, I remember.
Winter Soldier? No.
No. What movie did you watch with us? I remember. I think it was a Marvel movie we watched.
No, Might have been Thor.
I did not fall asleep.
I remember you fell asleep.
I did not fall asleep in Winter Soldier.
Oh, no, was that just?
Maybe I don't see it with you. I saw it 4 times in theaters.
I saw Winter Soldier
because I saw it with all of us.
Okay.
And it was a movie I saw with all of us. It was either you or just that fell asleep though. But
okay. No, I did not fall. I fell asleep in Man of Steel.
Yeah. But yeah, I
say that with pride. It was boring.
I didn't fight scene.
When Superman is flying 1,000,000 miles per hour.
I look over.
I wasn't a huge fan of Batman Begins. I did like. I wasn't a huge fan of Batman Begins. I was a huge fan of the ones after, but I didn't like Batman Begins.
Dude, I love Batman Begins. I think Batman Begins is
my heart
criminally underrated.
It's good. That one is probably I've only seen it once or twice.
You know what? She didn't like it that much either.
Mm-hmm. I saw it when it first came out, 2005.
Yeah.
I was 10, 11 years old, so I didn't appreciate it as much. We did the
marathon.
movie marathon when
you
Dark
liked it
Knight
more,
Rises came out, and
I haven't even seen it. Like, I saw it twice before Dark Knight came out.
Yeah.
And I literally only ever watched Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. I've never gone back and watched. I just didn't have a good time with it.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
But that's so I'm just saying, like, so yeah, definitely. I literally liked every single Marvel movie that's come. I mean, Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my favorite from the first phase 1 was Captain America.
Yeah.
From phase 2 was definitely either Ant-Man or Guardians. And then this one's is definitely up there.
Yeah.
You like Iron Man 2 also?
Iron Man 2 sucks.
And part 3?
I like part 3. I did not like part 2, but I still liked it more than I liked Batman versus
I just remember watching
Man of Steel.
Yeah, no, I did the movie marathon for Marvel too when
Mm-hmm.
Avengers.
I definitely went to go eat during Iron Man 2.
No, we were definitely considering leaving to go get In-N-Out during First Avenger, but we were just like, we paid the money, so.
No, I left during Iron Man 2.
Yeah, Iron Man 2
and like I said, Captain America the first one was my favorite of the phase 1.
Yeah. I don't know. They've had a couple like Iron Man 2 sucks. I think Thor. I haven't seen Thor 2, but I fell asleep watching Thor 2.
I like both Thors. Granted, they're definitely not as high up as the other ones.
Yeah.
They're definitely on the
I like the
lower end.
first Thor, but I haven't seen part 2 yet. I only watched like the first 30 minutes. I fell asleep. And I was like, fuck it. Hulk was pretty good.
I liked it.
The Eddie Norton one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I liked all their movies. I mean, with I guess the lowest one on the whole thing is Iron Man 2 for me by far. But I still liked it more than I liked Man of Steel.
I would say I didn't like Man of Steel.
Zack Snyder is just taking a whole different direction with it. I'm not really on board, and that's basically what it's gonna be like now. Because even though Ben Affleck is probably gonna end up directing for Justice League, I mean I don't know exactly what project.
Confirmed.
No, I know, but I don't know which project he's working on exactly.
Is it
Justice League?
I think it's Batman and Justice League.
Okay.
Maybe I could be wrong though. It could be just Batman.
But the thing is that mood and that direction they're going in has been like clearly established with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
Do you feel like he was just kind of like trying too hard to be like Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, because Christopher Nolan was the executive producer, so obviously he's looking over the footage and he's just like, yeah, that works, like, but
yeah,
he's no Christopher Nolan.
No.
like
see, and I can appreciate that it's something different. It's just not my taste.
Well,
and like,
yeah,
it just doesn't work for me. Like, the Batmans worked for me. But like, they were fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're probably the best, honestly, comic book movie. Like,
Superman should have been more lighthearted. Now that like Batman, I could see being like how it was, and then Superman make it gritty, but I mean, he's not like how he is.
Yeah, see, like, I actually, like, Superman Returns, everybody hates that movie. Like, I actually like the tone of the movie.
I like the Superman's, like, how he is.
Yeah. Like, I thought it fit well. I just thought that they needed a bigger, and, like, Lex Luthor just, like, you need the muscle, too. Like.
They should have probably saved Lex Luthor for later.
Yeah, man.
But, like I said, they wanted to throw it off. They wanted to throw it quicker.
No, I did like that aspect that they brought in Doomsday because that brought in that whole muscle thing.
Yeah, like
that's true.
That made sense for Batman versus Superman, but yeah, Superman Returns, it just he didn't have like an enemy that he had to fight.
Krypton.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, kryptonite, oh god, like
kryptonite,
like,
no.
Like that's the whole conflict, and it's kind of like okay,
that gets old really quick.
Yeah, it does. Like he needs to fuck shit up. Like the best scene in that movie is when the plane is gonna crash.
Which
Superman Returns.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I mean, I've seen it. I don't remember it that well.
Okay, well, there's an airplane. It's in the beginning.
That's a big sequence. It's a little towards the middle.
It's in the beginning. It's the beginning middle. Let's say.
Okay.
So like they're testing out some new thing where they can launch a space shuttle on top of an airplane. Lex Luthor sets off an EMP because
he's a dick.
Yeah,
for no other reason.
Yeah, he was testing some stuff out with the kryptonite, and then so then they couldn't get the shuttle off. So then the shuttle was going into space while the airplane was there. Superman detaches the airplane, is falling, fucking free falling, and he's like desperately like trying to stop it, and he stops it like right in the stadium, in the baseball stadium.
Of course.
And like that scene is one of the most intense Superman scenes out there. If they had more scenes like that, then the movie would have been amazing. I remember watching the movie in the theater and going like, "Oh my, this is gonna be the best movie ever!" Like,
well, the thing is about even though Superman is like. There's problems with him because he doesn't have the best villains. I think the best villains, hands down in DC, is Batman.
Yeah,
but the
no
thing,
question.
But the thing that
best
works,
villains, period.
Because I don't I like Batman because of his villains, not
Yeah.
like I don't like Batman as necessarily. You know,
Yeah.
I love him his universe and his world.
The thing that works for Superman is that he is the guy that rescues everyone in peril.
Yeah.
So that was a perfect like example of that.
Yeah.
Like,
It fits his character.
saving people like when they're in danger.
But like, the thing is, he does have good villains, but they're kind of out there, like Bizarro
Brainiac.
or Brainiac, or
Even Lex is a good villain.
Yeah, so like, but it's like the kind of like outer world villains and stuff. Like it doesn't work as well unless it's General Zod, I guess.
It's really intergalactic.
Yeah. And actually, we're talking about that with Batman versus Superman and Marvel too, but Marvel has been more grounded overall. But this Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel definitely has a more sci-fi twist to it. And I think that's one of the reasons it hasn't been as successful, is just that, like, people kind of go, like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know?
Guardians of the Galaxy did amazing.
Yeah, but of course it's grounded in human humor. Like,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's like it grounds it with that.
Fucking Star-Lord the whole time is literally just referencing stuff that how does he even know, you know? Like,
yeah. But even in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a sci-fi movie to begin with because it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Whereas like Superman, I don't know, it has this kind of feel of like still
he's homegrown.
Homegrown.
That's his character. He's a homegrown.
Yeah, and then you throw in like Cut My Blood and Doomsday comes out of General Zod's corpse, like.
So he's literally the baby of Lex Luthor and General Zod. Dead General Zod.
Yeah, and I imagine the average fan is going, what?
Wow.
I think the craziest thing people took from Guardians was there's a talking tree. But that wasn't even like bad. It was just like, oh, okay.
I am Groot.
That's
He's
Groot.
That's what
That's the great thing about Guardians of the Galaxy, is that it's already out there, so you can do anything. Like you can just do anything.
And nothing was nothing like
yeah, nothing goes too far.
Oh, they're harvesting out of the head of a celestial being. No one questioned it. It was like, yeah, okay.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's Tuesdays. But yeah, Jenna, that was a good discussion.
About what?
About
at the end?
About a bunch of different things. But yeah, basically, I just think that DC is not as good right now as Marvel. But I also think that people are unfairly biased right now for it too. I don't think they're giving it enough a chance. Even though personally, I did not like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. I enjoyed watching it. It was a good theater experience. I would go watch it again. But I don't think that it's a good movie. Like, you know.
Yeah, well, we were complaining about that, especially considering that Knowledge is an editor. Like, the editing was for Batman. It was all over the place. Like, I didn't know. And there's just too many things that seem like insiders that, like, comic book geeks would get. But everyone else, like, for a general audience, was like, what is going on?
Yeah, and I get that they have to. I mean, that's their most important audience, is the geeks. But I don't know, they have to find a good balance. I know a lot of people who are like loved it, like who are hardcore DC fans, and just like this is a different direction, and this is what I want as a DC fan. So I get that, but the numbers don't lie.
And I mean, that's just the comic book. Like I forgot we talked about it before, where you know DC's like how they are, and then Marvel's like, oh, okay, we're gonna be over here doing our thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, and Marvel's been in the game for 8 years now. And DC is like, I mean, all they have is Man of Steel, which was what, like 2012, 13?
Yeah, that's the start of their cinematic universe.
So, I mean, we'll see where they go with that. But, I mean, I'm interested. The one I'm most excited about is Wonder Woman. And I don't really know about the Flash or Aquaman. Cyborg looked really cool.
Cyborg looks good. I'm excited for Cyborg and Aquaman. Wonder Woman, of course, she stole the movie.
Yeah,
by far.
She was.
All the new characters in the movies stole their movies.
Yeah, they're beasts.
Black Panther and Spider-Man, 10 minutes of total screen time almost, and they stole the movie. Granted, it was
absolute
everything else was great,
yeah.
but they were complete savages, and Wonder Woman was a complete savage.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
She was fucking up Doomsday. Like she
didn't need Superman or Batman.
Yeah, like
there. They were getting her way.
Like, we had that discussion where it was like, why did Superman have to drive in the kryptonite spear?
Because he had to die.
Yeah, he had to die, so they had to waste that fucking story right now. I don't know. They fucked up.
Captain America didn't die.
I know.
and
he should have died.
He should have
died.
That's the thing about Civil War.
Yeah, like I
think. Granted, the person that's supposed to kill him was killed off in the very beginning of the movie.
Who is
Crossbone.
Who?
Crossbone.
Oh, the dude, who used to be in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't think they said his name at all throughout the movie.
They never do.
Yeah,
I just remember him.
We knew it was. Yeah, but the guy with the
mask and
he was a beast too.
By the way, he was, I mean, even in like just the elevator scene in Winter Soldier, like anyone need to get out now.
Yeah.
And that was sick.
Before we do this,
if you want to get out the elevator,
like I actually really like that guy, even though he was a bad guy. And I like Zemo too, though. So I don't know how you guys felt.
I mean, Zemo was whatever, but he was a fucking savage. What's it called? What's he called?
Crossbones. I don't know his
Crossbones.
person's name.
Okay.
Yeah, he came. But he's in Winter Soldier. I don't remember if he's in Age of
He's also in Warrior. I like him in Warrior.
Who's he in Warrior?
He's a trainer.
He's a trainer of Joe Edgerton's character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The friend.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good. So I liked him and he's been good. I'm glad they gave him like a decent role. Granted, he was only in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he was a beast.
He was a beast.
All right, so that was a great discussion on Civil War. Thanks, Steph, for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I will hopefully I'll be back and comment on some other movies we watch.
Next week, Apocalypse comes out.
Yeah, or at the end of this week.
Yes. So we're definitely going to watch that. We might, depending on how busy we are, we might also wait a little bit, just the same.
Just a couple of days.
It won't be a week like we did for this one.
Yeah, it'll be soon. Like we waited 2 weeks for this one because we were just busy
and
stuff happens. But with X-Men, we should be good.
We should be good, yes.
Yeah,
and we'll definitely probably that next week we'll have it out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Nerds with Glasses podcast. We will see you next time. Peace.